Lateef Jakande Academy Fellows unveil Employability Hub at Ikeja Senior High School. House of Representatives calls for improved flood control to prevent tragedies, seeks emergency relief from Niger Kwara victims. On the foreign scene, 5 people died, dozens injured after ferry sinks in Indonesia's tourist island of Bali. And in sport, Nigeria striker Paul Onachu joins Turkish Super League Trabzonspor on 3-year deal. Now the details. I am Dele Agadumo. Fellows of the Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy has unveiled an Employability Hub at Ikeja Senior High School, an inclusive school as part of efforts to provide a digitally equipped, accessible learning environment where students, regardless of physical ability, could thrive. Team leader of the capstone group of the fellows, Teniola Hassan, stated that her team created the hub to provide a digitally equipped, accessible learning environment where all students, regardless of physical ability, could thrive. Hassan said aside the hub, it also organized a 2-day training for teachers focusing on foundational strategies for inclusive education and a hands-on session centered on AI and practical tools for inclusive learning.
Inclusivity. We want to bridge the gap between people that are specially able. I call them specially able because we know that it is not easy, and for them to learn all these skills, it takes a degree of discipline for them to be able to know how to communicate in a world where everyone cannot really speak their language. So the project is just on bridging that gap when it comes to technology, for them to be able to believe in themselves and know that, okay, even if they can learn vocational skills, the world of technology is also open to them.
She also emphasized that sign language should be taught in all schools to bridge communication gap. In her goodwill message, the Executive Secretary, Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy, Aisat Agbaje Okwade, described the hub as a bold statement of inclusion, innovation, and impact.
We are here to celebrate the launch of the capstone project of the Fellows of the Lateef Jakande Group A. So at the Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy, we ensure that as we are giving to the fellows and we are grooming them and we're, teaching them the tenets of leadership, they are also prepared to give back, because part of the abilities or the key abilities of leaders is that they are selfless and they have the ability to go back into their communities and improve their communities. And that was an important lesson or an important part of the academy that our fellows need to know.
Agbaje Okwade said through their commitments, the Academy Fellows have created a vibrant, inclusive digital learning environment equipped with interactive boards and a suite of laptops designed to enhance teaching, personalized learning, and promote equal access for all students. The Lagos State government has granted formal approval for the temporary suspension of bus rapid transit BRT lane enforcement along the Eko Bridge and Odoyalaro corridors. Special advisor to the governor on transportation, Shalagiwa, who announced this, said it is a proactive and strategic intervention aimed at ameliorating the growing traffic congestion precipitated by the ongoing structural rehabilitation of the Ifako Bridge expansion joint. He said this is also a palliative response to mitigate commuters' hardship, aligns with the Lagos State government's forward-thinking and adaptive transportation strategy under the Themes Plus agenda of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, particularly within the framework of sustainable traffic management and infrastructure modernization. Giwa noted that effective immediately, the directive permits general vehicular access to previously restricted BRT corridors on Eko Bridge and Odoyalaro, particularly during peak travel periods, thereby expanding available road capacity and diffusing congestion along critical traffic nodes. He stressed that commercial buses and articulated vehicles must continue to operate in strict compliance with existing safety guidelines and loading regulations to avoid compounding road inefficiencies or jeopardizing public safety. The Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission says its gas-centric transition strategy aims to eliminate routine flaring by 2030 and reduce methane by 60% by 2031. The Commission's Chief Executive, Benga Komolafe, made this known at the ongoing 24th Nigeria Oil and Gas Energy Week Conference 2025. In his keynote address at a strategic session titled Positioning Nigeria's Upstream Oil and Gas for Energy Security, Sustainability and Economic Resilience, Komolafe said the strategy will monetize vast gas reserves, creating thousands of green jobs in the process. He revealed that the strategy was supported by initiatives such as the Decade of Gas, the Nigeria Gas Flare Commercialization Program, and the Presidential Compressed Natural Gas (CNG) initiative. Komolafe said the annual event would serve as a rallying point for stakeholders to track progress, share knowledge, and accelerate climate-aligned development. Now to the rest of the stories. The House of Representatives has expressed deep sorrow over the devastating floods that struck Mokwa in Niger State and parts of Edo local government in Kwara State. The floods caused by heavy rainfall in May have claimed hundreds of lives and left thousands displaced. Lawmakers say at least 500 people are confirmed dead, over 600 remain missing, and more than 4,000 homes have been destroyed. The tragedy was raised as a motion of urgent public importance by lawmakers from Niger State, Joshua Ghana and Sabah Umar from Kwara State. They described it as one of the worst flood incidents in the region in decades, made worse by the collapse of a nearby embankment along old railway lines, which allowed flood water to engulf major parts of Mokwa, including other commercial districts. In response, the House called on the federal government and the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, to provide urgent relief, including water purification systems, to help prevent disease outbreaks. The lawmakers raised concerns about a looming health crisis with fears of cholera, typhoid, and acute watery diarrhea spreading in the aftermath. President Bola Tinubu has inaugurated the Northwest Digital Industrial Park in Kano State, which was vandalized during the End Bad Governance protest in 2024. President Tinubu was represented at the inauguration by the Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Bosun Tijani. The minister in his address expressed the need for the youth in the state and the country at large to use these opportunities to tap from the various opportunities across the globe. Tijani lamented over the vandalization of the Digital Industrial Park during the August 1 protest, after all that had been put in place awaiting the inauguration. He expressed the commitment of the federal government to the project, stating that it was put in place because there were many people to benefit from it in Kano alone, with 180,000 people, equivalent of 10% of the total applicants from all over Nigeria. Now to foreign news. At least 5 people have died and dozens missing after a ferry sank off Indonesia's tourist island of Bali. The boat was carrying 53 passengers and 12 crew members when it sank while on its way to Bali from Banyuwangi on the eastern coast of Java Island. The Surabaya office of the National Search and Rescue Agency said 31 survivors have been rescued as the search continues. Authorities are investigating the cause of the sinking. Many of the survivors are residents of the coastal town of Banyuwangi, while others come from more inland areas of Java. Meanwhile, President Prabowo Subianto has ordered an immediate emergency response from Saudi Arabia, where he is on an official visit. Now sports. Nigeria striker Paul Onachu has officially joined Turkish Super League outfit Trabzonspor on a 3-year contract as he gets set to begin his second adventure at the club. The 31-year-old, who scored 17 goals in 25 matches during a successful loan spell at the modest Super League club 2 seasons ago, makes a full return, this time on a permanent basis following successful negotiations with parent club Southampton. Talks with the Saints had stalled in previous weeks due to what Trabzonspor described as shifting conditions and unrealistic expectations. He becomes the latest recruit for Trabzonspor for the forthcoming 2025-2026 Super League season, having already confirmed the signing of Joaquin Pina and are moving close to completing a deal for Jean-Charles Castelletto. The Super Eagles' lanky forward touched down at Trabzon before finalizing all contractual details. Trabzonspor had introduced Onacho through the NFC on the club's jersey a few days ago. And that is on news at noon. Just before we go, always carry out proper and adequate checks on your vehicle before setting out. You can follow us on like all our various social media platforms: X at Traffic Radio 961, Facebook Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM, Instagram Lagos Traffic Radio 961. Subscribe and watch news and programs live on YouTube at Traffic Radio 961. Visit our website on www.trafficradio961.ng. You can also listen to Lagos Traffic Radio 96.1 FM live on My Lagos app for timely updates. Did you know that the Sanwo-Olu administration organized a mentorship seminar for over 1,000 youths on the theme Agripreneur Strategy for Wealth Creation? You can get more details on the Lagos State Government website. To end the news, try the highlights of the major stories. Fellows of the Lateef Jakande Leadership Academy have unveiled an Empowerability Hub at Ikeja Senior High School, an inclusive school as part of efforts to provide a digitally equipped, accessible learning environment where students, regardless of physical ability, could thrive. The House of Representatives has expressed deep sorrow over the devastating floods that struck Mokwa in Niger State and parts of Edo local government in Kwara State. We also told you that at least 5 people have died and dozens missing after a ferry sank off Indonesia's tourist island of Bali. And in sport, Nigeria striker Paul Onacho has officially joined Turkish Super League outfit Trabzonspor on a 3-year contract as he gets set to begin his second adventure at the club. For contact with the newsroom, send a message to info@trafficradio961.ng. That is news broadcast compiled by Adirayo Iduwolaya. I am Dele Agadumo. Good morning. Thank you for listening.